Thanks very much for joining us. Time now for Eye on Africa. I'm Georgia Calvin-Smith, and tonight Nigeria's military denies reports that soldiers are missing after at least 2 attacks by suspected Boko Haram insurgents. Also, Barack is back in Kenya. The former US president heads to the hometown of his father to launch a youth project run by his sister. And we head to the Afropunk festival here in Paris. The event returns for another 2-day edition, rocking headline acts like Maxwell and Mahalia. We get stuck into the celebration of Afro creativity. But first, hundreds of Nigerian soldiers are reportedly missing after clashing with Boko Haram militants over the weekend. The military's denied local claims that troops are unaccounted for after armed extremists ambushed a military convoy near Bama in Borno state on Friday. A day later, suspected insurgents attacked an army base in Jili village in Yobe state. Now, the two assaults highlight the ongoing threat posed by Boko Haram and the pressures on Nigerian forces pitted against them. Sam Olukoya tells us more.
There were 2 very serious incidents. One involved soldiers who were going on an operation, and they got stuck, and then it was a perfect ambush for Boko Haram. Boko Haram attacked this military convoy while it was stopped. And in the other case, within 24 hours, Boko Haram again attacked a military base, and this was where we had hundreds of soldiers who went missing. Eyewitnesses said they saw so many soldiers fleeing the place, some with bullet wounds, some with injuries, and of course, they said later the military came to the location to evacuate a number of corpses. So it had been 2 days of very serious setback for the Nigerian military within the weekend.
And what's the military saying? Because they haven't yet addressed the reported hundreds of soldiers missing, and they are also not saying that the dozens who are supposed to have been missing from the first attack have been located.
Well, for now, the military has acknowledged that both attacks took place, but they never said anybody was missing. They agreed that they went on an operation and their vehicles got stuck, and Boko Haram attacked them. They said only 2 soldiers were injured, not even dead. 2 soldiers were injured, and they were able to kill a number of Boko Haram insurgents. The second incident, they also said it happened that Boko Haram actually attacked a base, and the military reinforced and was able to take over that base. But many Nigerians find it very difficult to believe that the military version of this story. They actually, at least what eyewitnesses said, that a number of soldiers were killed. Some fled the place. I mean, most Nigerians feel that is the correct version of what happened on Saturday.
So not directly questioning the official account from the military, but say that they were not admitting that the soldiers were missing. What is in their possible interest to not admit that their soldiers are missing after these attacks?
Even from the statements, the 2 statements the military issued in respect of the 2 attacks, they said reports about setbacks, military setback, are enough to create a panic, that the press should be careful not to give out reports that will create panic. I think the military is trying as much as possible not to give the impression that it's suffering quite a lot of setbacks. Given that in the past the military said, and even the Nigerian government said, the war against Boko Haram is over. And if you say this war is over, and overnight we are hearing of hundreds of soldiers missing following an attack by Boko Haram, then the populace is not likely to believe the government's and military version that the war against Boko Haram is effectively over.
Sam Olukoya there for us. Now, whilst in Kenya on Monday, Barack Obama called on the country's leaders to turn their backs on divisive ethnic politics. The former US president was in the hometown of his father to open a school there. Nicolas Chamin tells us more.
These Kenyans are not celebrating the French victory in the World Cup, but the arrival of former US President Barack Obama in his father's home village. He came to open a school. Barack Obama even danced and cracked a few jokes.
It is a joy to be back with so many people who are family to me and so many people who claim to be family to me.
Barack Obama urged Kenya's leaders to turn their backs on divisive ethnic politics, but he also said the situation in Kenya was improving.
A young Kenyan doesn't have to do what my grandfather did and serve a foreign master. A young Kenyan doesn't have to do what my father did and leave home in order to get an education. So there's been real progress in this amazing country.
It was Barack Obama's fourth trip to Kenya and his first since he has left the White House. After Kenya, he will travel to South Africa, where he will deliver a speech marking the 100th anniversary of Nelson Mandela.
Now, Eritrea reopened its embassy in Ethiopia on Monday, decades after it was shut during a border war that killed 80,000 people between 1998 and 2000. President Isaias Afwerki inaugurated the building in Addis Ababa at the end of a historic three-day stay in Ethiopia. Bilateral relations have improved at breakneck speed ever since Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who took office just in April, agreed to accept borders set back in 2002. Addis's previous refusal to do so contributed to years of Cold War between the neighbours. Now, football fans in both France and Africa are celebrating the players that brought Les Bleus World Cup victory in Russia on Sunday. The French team that delivered a 4-2 win over Croatia featured 15 players of African origin. Appreciation for the team's diverse heritage has fed into tributes across the African continent and here in Paris.
Of course we're happy about France's victory. It's a country we support and that we want to do well.
I'm very happy for Les Bleus and to say that we won.
I would have liked other countries to have done better in this World Cup, but it was a heroic and great performance from France in the final.
Just like Mbappe, who comes from a mixed heritage of Africa and Algeria, today France is represented by an African culture, and today we are here to say that France is multicultural.
Well, Afropunk brings together musicians, artists and trendsetters, celebrating black excellence in all its forms. The Paris event returned for another two-day edition over the weekend, and our Rochelle Harrison-Pless went to check it out.
Welcome to Afropunk!
Afropunk is creativity.
It means freedom to be how you are, to come how you are, and to see others and appreciate them as they are.
It means this royal majesty, this love for your roots.
Freedom, empowerment, fierceness and fearlessness, the cornerstones of the Afropunk movement. An annual festival, this is the fourth edition to land in Paris, celebrates and connects the global African diaspora. Speaking loud and proud through music, fashion and multicultural art. From new soul and punk rock to Afrobeats and futuristic funk, the festival never fails to serve up a musical smorgasbord. A chance to see chart-topping headliners, but also support emerging talents on the brink of fame.
Afropunk's so important because it provides a place for people to come together, to remind themselves that they belong somewhere, that they can actually use their voice, that they can be exactly who they are without any question. It means an authentic sense of self, like an unwavering sense of who you are and your identity.
It's not even about entertainment at all in the first place. It's about making everybody aware that, hey, we're on this together. We're in this world together. We are one, you know. So we use the stage as kind of like a church, or even like open therapy session. Yeah. So all the punks are gonna go to therapy tonight.
Afropunk without a colourful parade of stylish, eye-catching outfits. Festival goers really daring to push the boundaries. It's a veritable fashion kaleidoscope and a feast for the eyes.
The theme is Afro, so a dress made of African wax fabric is ideal.
The vibe that we're going for is mermaid.
The festival was founded in 2005 and has since expanded globally. But whether in Brooklyn, London or Johannesburg, the Afropunk mantra remains the same, with inclusiveness the beating heart of the movement.
That's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks for joining us. Do so again. Take care.